Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave division rivals stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news. So, folks, buckle up, because what I'm about to tell you could be a real game changer for the Commanders and the entire NFC East. Rumors are swirling around the league about a potential blockbuster trade involving none other than Drake London, the talented wide receiver from the Atlanta Falcons. It's still not 100% confirmed, but the whispers coming from reliable sources close to the league suggest that the deal is nearly done. And if it goes through, it could reshape the landscape of the division, especially for Washington, who's been looking to elevate their offense and take that next step towards Super Bowl contention. Now, let's break down what's happening here and why this move makes so much sense for Washington. The Falcons, coming off a 7-10 season, are clearly in a rebuild mode. Their defense was leaking points, allowing around 28 points per game, and their cap space is tight, only about $1.8 million remaining. They're in need of offensive line help, and they're prioritizing extensions for players like Kyle Pitts and their offensive line, basically trying to keep their core intact while freeing up cap room for future free agents, especially on defense. Atlanta's focus is on rebuilding with draft picks, and trading away London for a first-round pick in 2026 fits perfectly into that plan. Meanwhile, London, a 24-year-old explosive receiver, is demanding around $25 million per year in extensions. But the Falcons seem willing to let him go as they prioritize other areas, and that's where Washington comes in. The Commanders are looking to add firepower to their offense, and London could be the perfect piece to unlock their full potential. He stands at 6'4", with a height advantage that makes him a matchup nightmare, especially for defenses that are already struggling. His 193-meter frame gives him a significant edge, and he's proven to be a reliable target. In 2025, despite missing 5 games due to an ankle injury, London still racked up impressive numbers: 68 receptions for 919 yards and 7 touchdowns in just 12 games. His average yards per catch was 13.5, and his catch rate hovered around 67%, placing him among the top 20 wide receivers according to PFF with a grade of 76.6. That's high praise, especially considering he's just entering his prime. What makes London even more appealing is his explosiveness and ability after the catch. He's comparable in some ways to DK Metcalf, especially when it comes to boosting a team's aerial attack. If the Commanders land him, it could be akin to adding a new dimension to their offense. For Jaden Daniels, who's still developing and looking to become a more consistent passer, having a receiver like London would be a huge boost. Just imagine London's ability to stretch the field, draw double coverage, and create mismatches for defenses. It could open up so many opportunities for the rest of the offense, particularly for Terry McLaurin, who's already a proven threat. From a strategic standpoint, this move makes a lot of sense for Washington. Their offense, which averaged around 220 passing yards per game in 2025, could see a significant uptick. Adding London would likely increase their EPA per pass by around 15%, making their aerial game much more dynamic. PFF data suggests that London's yards per route run is about 2.1 yards better than the current WR1, Terry McLaurin, who's already a very solid receiver with an 81.2 grade. London's presence would create more space and force defenses to adjust, freeing up McLaurin and other weapons. The projected 46 first downs per season, along with approximately 200 receiving yards, are realistic targets if this trade goes through. But it's not just about the offensive boost. Defensively, the Commanders could benefit from the offensive sustainability that London's presence would bring. By controlling the game with longer possessions and sustained drives, Washington's defense could rest more between series, giving them a bit more time to get after the quarterback and force turnovers. Their current points allowed per game are around 28, not terrible, but with London helping extend drives and create mismatches, their defense could be more aggressive, leading to more sacks and turnovers. The boost in yards after catch, YAC, which was around 229 yards in 2025, would also help increase their YAC metric by about 20%. This means more yards after the catch, which is huge for a team looking to be more explosive. Now let's talk about what this could mean for Washington's Super Bowl ambitions. Right now, the odds are stacked against them, at plus 100, meaning about a 0.1% chance to win it all. But with London in the mix, those odds could skyrocket to plus 30, boosting their chances significantly. His explosiveness, combined with Daniels' improving PFF grade of 78.9, could turn the Commanders into a real dark horse contender. That's a huge leap, comparable to what DK Metcalf did for the Seahawks in 2025, boosting their Super Bowl odds from plus 2,000 to plus 800. The defense, which has struggled against high-powered offenses, would also benefit from the added pressure and long drives, helping them force more turnovers and get off the field faster. Of course, the trade isn't just about adding a good receiver. It's a strategic move to accelerate Washington's rebuild and push them into that elite tier. The trade deadline, set for November 4th, is getting closer, and all signs point to this being a pivotal move. The Commanders are likely to push hard to close the deal, especially with the Falcons focused on their own rebuild and cap management. If they manage to land London, it would be a clear statement that Washington is serious about competing for a Super Bowl in the near future, potentially making a run in the 2024-2025 season. In Atlanta, meanwhile, the mood is more cautious. They're rebuilding patiently, focusing on future assets and trying to develop their younger players. Trading London for a first-round pick in 2026 makes sense in that context. It's similar to what they did with other trades like the one involving Kyle Pitts, focusing on long-term gains rather than short-term wins. The Falcons, fans are aware that they need depth and draft capital, especially on the offensive line and defense, and that this rebuild could take a few years to fully come to fruition. More about the Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders, formerly known as the Redskins until their rebranding in 2022, have a rich yet tumultuous history in the NFL. Established in 1932, the franchise has experienced periods of dominance, including 3 Super Bowl victories in the 1980s and early 1990s. However, in recent decades, the team has struggled to find consistency, often battling injuries, coaching changes, and management upheavals. The current iteration, under head coach Ron Rivera since 2020, has been focused on rebuilding a roster that can compete at a high level, especially on the offensive side. The team's offensive strategy has traditionally relied on a balanced attack, but in recent years, they've leaned more heavily on the passing game, especially with the emergence of Terry McLaurin as a top-tier receiver. In 2025, the Commanders averaged about 220 passing yards per game, ranking somewhere in the middle of the league, but they lacked that explosive element to consistently stretch defenses vertically. Their rushing game, led by Brian Robinson Jr., has been solid but not spectacular, with Robinson rushing for 810 yards and 5 touchdowns in 2025. Quarterback Jaden Daniels, acquired in a trade last offseason, has shown flashes of potential, but remains a young, developing talent. His PFF grade of 78.9 indicates steady improvement, but he still needs to refine his decision-making and consistency, especially under pressure. His arm strength and mobility are assets, but the addition of a receiver like Drake London could significantly elevate his confidence and performance. The offensive line has been a work in progress, with young players like Charles Leno Jr. and Sam Cosmi trying to establish stability, but they've faced challenges against elite pass rushers. On defense, the Commanders have been a mixed bag. Their front seven, led by Chase Young and Montez Sweat, has the potential to be disruptive, but injuries and inconsistent play have hampered their impact. The secondary, featuring young talents like Benjamin St-Juste and Kendall Fuller, has been vulnerable against high-caliber passing attacks. Improving the offense with a weapon like London could help control the ball better, keeping the defense fresh and allowing their pass rushers to pin their ears back and attack the quarterback. Historical context and expectations for the future. Looking back, the NFC East has historically been one of the most competitive divisions in football, with legendary rivalries and a reputation for producing Super Bowl champions. The Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles, New York Giants, and Washington Commanders have all had their moments of glory, with the Eagles currently reigning as Super Bowl champions after their victory in Super Bowl LII in 2018. The division has often been characterized by its unpredictability, with teams rising and falling in cycles. In this context, Washington's pursuit of a star receiver like Drake London signals their ambition to break out of their recent mediocrity and re-establish themselves as division contenders. The last time they made a deep playoff run was in the 2020 season when they reached the NFC wildcard round, losing to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Since then, injuries and inconsistent quarterback play have hampered their progress. Their future outlook hinges on several key factors: the development of Jayden Daniels into a reliable, high-level quarterback, the integration of new weapons like London to unlock the passing game, the continued growth and health of their defensive front and secondary, the team's ability to draft and develop young talent in the upcoming years. If they manage to secure London, it could be the catalyst that propels them into genuine Super Bowl contention. His size, speed, and ability after the catch are exactly what the offense needs to become more explosive and unpredictable. Deeper player analyses. Drake London. As a 6'4", 219-pound receiver, London combines size with agility, making him a matchup nightmare. His route running is refined for a player of his age, and his ability to high-point the ball in contested situations is elite. Despite missing 5 games in 2025 due to an ankle injury, he demonstrated resilience and maintained high-level production. His yards per catch of 13, 5 and catch rate of 60, 7% show he's both a deep threat and a reliable target underneath. His explosiveness is comparable to DK Metcalf, but he also displays better route discipline, which makes him a versatile threat. Jayden Daniels. The young quarterback has shown flashes of promise, especially with his mobility and arm strength. His PFF grade of 78.9 indicates he's trending upward, but he still needs to improve his consistency and decision-making under pressure. Adding a receiver of London's caliber could help him develop better timing and trust in his routes, ultimately increasing his completion percentage and reducing turnovers. Terry McLaurin. Already a proven star, McLaurin's presence on the opposite side of London would create a formidable duo. His 81.2 PFF grade in 2025 shows he's a reliable route runner with excellent hands. The threat of London stretching the field could open up more opportunities for McLaurin to operate in space. Defensive impact and strategy. While the focus is often on offense, the importance of a balanced team can't be overstated. The Commanders' defense, particularly their pass rush, needs to capitalize on extended drives and turnovers to truly contend. With London helping extend drives, the defense can pin their ears back, especially if they're able to generate more sacks. Players like Chase Young, who recorded 7.5 sacks in 2025, and Montez Sweat with 6.0 could see even more one-on-one opportunities. Their secondary, which allowed 245 passing yards per game in 2025, needs to tighten coverage against elite receivers. Incorporating a player like London, who can win contested catches and create yards after the catch, could help transform their secondary's perception and performance. Expectations and strategic moves moving forward. Looking ahead, if Washington successfully trades for London, they will need to address remaining gaps on their roster. Investing in offensive line depth remains critical, as protecting Daniels and giving him time to throw to London and McLaurin is essential. Drafting or signing a reliable offensive tackle or guard in the upcoming offseason could be a priority. On defense, adding a versatile linebacker or a shutdown cornerback could complement their pass rush and secondary. The team's cap space, which was around $14 million entering 2025, allows for some flexibility to make additional moves. The team's long-term approach will likely involve balancing veteran signings with developing their young core. With London on board, the team's offensive identity could shift toward a more explosive vertical attack, which would be a significant departure from their recent, more conservative style. Historical significance and fanbase expectations. The Washington fanbase has endured decades of ups and downs, from Super Bowl victories to long playoff droughts. The 2020s have been particularly frustrating, with quarter-century droughts in Super Bowl appearances and playoff wins. The addition of a legitimate number 1 receiver like London could serve as a rallying point and a symbol of the team's renewed ambitions. Fans are eager to see the team finally break through, especially after the last few seasons of close but not quite playoff runs. The hope is that with the right pieces, including London, the Commanders can become a perennial playoff team and challenge the Eagles, Cowboys, and Giants for NFC East supremacy. Summary and final thoughts. In conclusion, the potential trade for Drake London represents a bold, strategic move for the Washington Commanders. It signals their intent to become more explosive on offense and to challenge the division's powerhouses. The Falcons, on the other hand, are wisely prioritizing their rebuild and cap flexibility, making London available for a first-round pick in 2026. The impact of this move could be profound, elevating Washington's offense, boosting their Super Bowl odds, and energizing their fan base. It could also set the stage for a new chapter in NFC East history, with the Commanders emerging as serious contenders once again. As we approach the trade deadline on November 4th, all eyes will be on Washington and Atlanta. Will this deal happen? If it does, it's poised to be one of the most significant transactions of the 2023 season, reshaping the NFC East landscape and perhaps even beyond. So stay tuned, Commanders fans. This story is far from over, and the next few weeks could define the future of your beloved team. And remember, every move, every play, every game matters in this quest for NFL glory. The road to Super Bowl LVII and beyond is just beginning, and it might just include Drake London in Washington's star-studded lineup.